Hello, my name is Emilio Maldonado, and today I'm going to talk to you about my talk presentation. In 1917, Duchamp made a sculpture named the Fountain. This consisted in changing the position of a normal urinal and adding a signature that said air.mbut. Duchamp exposed his work of art in the Society of Independent Artists in the same year. This work of art was claimed by the art community, but brought some doubt in the normal viewers. This creates the question: how can we measure credibility based on an argument against personal knowledge? In Duchamp's case, we either can see it from the perspective of the author or from the community. Maybe Duchamp sees his work of art as a definition that anything can be art if it's given a context and a meaning. In Duchamp's eyes, the urinal was no longer a urinal. It was a fountain, because it has the shape of a fountain, and if it was plugged to a hole, it will work the same way that a fountain do. So it was a fountain. This is what started creating doubt and incredibility to the viewers. The viewers found the urinal as a simple urinal, because from their perspective and knowledge, a urinal and a fountain can't be the same thing. This creates backlash, because the people's personal knowledge gets violated with new ideas, and because the ideas aren't aligned with theirs, they don't believe them. Measuring credibility based on an argument against personal knowledge is a very common thing in art. It's through art that people can express their inner true selves. That's why it's very common to see very weird and strange works of art. But it is the same reason that artists consider what they make as a work of art. Sometimes simplicity and strangeness in art might be seen by artists as the most beautiful masterpiece, while technique-oriented and strict works of art might be seen as a waste. But here is where the common viewer have to open their minds in order to not let their personal knowledge dictate the quality of a work of art. The artist sees life as a movie, or as a story, where their creations change the world because they are made with emotion, excitement, melancholy, and everything, while the viewer sees it normally. This is why viewers can't sympathize with different works of art, because they like the same perspective that the artist had about life. This causes the artist to lose credibility in his work. Sometimes, that's why artists drift from their original style into more mainstream, because this fits the perspective of a normal viewer. Art has been constantly evolving from generation to generation. Since the Stone Age till now, there have been characteristics for what is popular art or what is considered good in the eye of the public. But for these things to be seen as good or accepted, first they went from a place of being proved wrong or ignored. Every type of art has been made in human history, in humankind, first was ignored by people's personal knowledge, because their train of thought couldn't align what they believed with what they saw or heard. For example, the reason that your father told you that the new music you are hearing is from the devil is no surprise, because his personal knowledge tells him that the best music is Nickelback. And by giving up on the idea that Nickelback is what rocks, will mean losing his identity. So, when he hears new music, he will be biased in his response, because he sees it as an argument that it's already bad. His personal knowledge tells him that there is no one genre of music. There is only one genre of music. This brings to the next point. Everyone in the world have a different type of thing that they enjoy. As well, this way there are many different genres in art, making us become even more biased when hearing an argument that some music is better than others. We don't see this statement as credible, because it will be no benefit for us in accepting that any different genre of art is better than the one we prefer. Art is mostly a game of perceptions and frames. If an artist achieves to frame his work of art with the same values and knowledge that the audience he has, he will be able to create a connection, making their work more credible and accepted. But when artists fail to do this, they get misunderstood and they start to create lack of credibility. When Sex Pistols started playing in England, they were accepted by their generation because their art talked about anger and the feeling of being oppressed by society, which many people at the moment felt. That's why it was easier for people to saw them credible, because they share the same beliefs. Psychology. From the perspective of psychology, first we have to focus on the personal knowledge. Since we are born, we start to develop some beliefs about life and other things, and these things get secured in our unconscious mind. We can't really have a way of changing our subconscious mind, the same way that we can change the conscious one. For us to create new ideals and keep them in our subconscious, it's very important to repeat a new idea the same way that you develop a habit, through constant repetition and exposure. But like any new habit, it gets rejected. This happens because we are looking to be coherent with our lives. This means ideas equal the same as our thoughts and actions. This is why, when we are given an argument, we find ourselves being biased many times if it isn't an argument connected to our personal knowledge. Self-control is in our emotions can dictate whether the response that we are going to give will continue to be biased or not. Many times when we perceive an argument bad, is because, first, as I already stated, it isn't coherent with what we are saying, and second, because it creates a negative emotion in us. Even that we are logical creatures, we still sometimes let ourselves be driven by emotions, which if we do not control, might leave us being completely biased about an argument, and not letting us see another side to the argument. Our emotions were created for us to seek comfort and be safe of the external world. That's why any emotion as anger or sadness is used, because our body is telling us that something is wrong. But sometimes we need to ignore our emotions, because they only leave us to comfort. With lack of self-control of our emotions, we see many arguments with lack of credibility. We have an idea of how we want the world to work and be. If the arguments that we are giving, even if they are false, matches the same perspective that we want, we will accept the argument, because our personal knowledge thinks that this is true, but really it might be false. Because every human person is different, what we think is true is very different from what other people believe to be true. That's why salesmen use different approaches with their clients, because they have different perspectives. Another thing that measures the credibility of an argument is our perception of the person telling us the argument. When we see people confident, we tend to drift to hear them, because we believe that what they might say is important. While if we don't see them as good, we will lose credibility in their arguments. We are always looking for role models, and these role models have different beliefs that we want to mirror. That's why when an artist tells to reporters to flip off, the viewers sees his arguments as totally true, because someone important said it. This brings me to the conclusion. We can measure the credibility of an argument against personal knowledge by knowing the beliefs of the other person. By looking at both art and psychology, we can understand that beliefs are very important. So to truly accept an argument, we need to understand their beliefs and understand our beliefs, so we don't discriminate. Out some aces up your sleeve, have you no idea that you're